Now is probably not a good time to be a corrupt official. The country has had enough, clearly stung into a bit of action. Some of our policing organizations are starting to do some work, including the Hawks and the SIU. I want to talk about corruption in our favorite city, Johannesburg. And more specifically, that entity that exists, heaven knows why, called City Power. You must understand that City Power seems to serve no purpose whatsoever. You get your electricity from Eskom, you get your bill from the city, but yet in the middle of all of this, you got City Power, and they seem to exist only as a trough for the comrades. Well, they are currently being investigated for theft of 500 million rand. Now, please understand that the city of Johannesburg, got ActionSA on board to pass through a capital loan, in other words, like long-term debt of 2 billion rand so that they could pay expenses. And here we've got the same city just throwing away 500 million rand in corruption at City Power. The CEO there is under investigation. That's a person by the name of Chifalaro Mashava. 500 million rand corruption. But listen to this. 335 million rand has just been kind of wasted on stuff that nobody can seem to find. You know, the books that says that they spend 335 million rand on air fresheners and pins and copper cables that nobody can find. And it seems like the documentation was done by some primary school project, but nobody can find the goods that were bought for this 335 million rand. Then there's another thing that caught my attention, an 8 million rand software system called SCADA for supervisory control and data. No doubt important. Just over 8 million rand if you were to go and get the system. A couple of $100,000 to get it installed, but not the city of Joburg and not City Power. No. What was budgeted for at 8.5 million rand ends up 100 million rand. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 100 million rand. So the software was originally was calculated and tendered at 7.1 million rand, but eventually paid for only at the price of 61.2 million rand. Then the installation of the software billed another 17.5 million rand. City Power. You got to love it. I mean, really. You know, this is a city that can't keep the lights on. None of the traffic lights work. The street lights don't work. The city is running at a fat loss. It has a budget of 82 billion rand, but the comrades are in there. And they are stealing as if it's their last days, which it may well be. If you're a resident of Johannesburg, it is very, very important that you know, ahead of the local government election, who is responsible for this. What we have running the city of Johannesburg is a coalition between the ANC, the EFF, the Patriotic Alliance, Al-Jamar, the AIC, which is some two-bit party. And these are the people that city residents of Johannesburg have decided to give their votes to. And these particular political parties are then just stealing the money blind. And it is so important that we name and shame those parties. And I know two of those parties, EFF and Patriotic Alliance, continue to claim that they would never be involved in corruption. But yet it's happening in an administration that they are part of. Now, we understand that one of the PAC senior people who was the deputy mayor, somebody challenged me on this, but please go and look. Kenny Kunene was the deputy mayor of Johannesburg, and he just happened to find himself at the scene of a police bust visiting a known murderer. He said he was there to act as a journalist. He's a deputy mayor, but okay, that's fine. I presume we can moonlight to whatever we can be. I'm saying that this has moved from being a city run by politicians to a crime syndicate. And people must understand what they are voting for. Now, there is a big thing coming in South Africa. I think that the population of South Africa has decided enough is enough when it comes to corruption. And I think that we already saw a backlash at the general elections in 2024, but you're going to see a massive backlash for corruption at local government level. And I do not understand why these parties think that this is a vote catcher. To run a corrupt government, a corrupt local government, in a city as important as Johannesburg, that this is going to make people want to vote for you. And I just do not understand why parties like the Patriotic Alliance and the EFF that keep on saying they would never be involved in corruption, but yet this is exactly what they're doing in the city of Johannesburg. Now, voters, please, we need change. And what you've got to be mindful of is who does the corruption. Now, the only person I'm not going to blame here is our mayor, Dada Marero, because remember, you've said it, well, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, he's the one politician I respect, because when he became mayor of Johannesburg, he got up and publicly said, don't expect me to do anything, I am not here to do anything, and I will not achieve anything while I'm mayor, and he has been good to his word. So if for no other reason, I like him because at least he told the residents of Johannesburg to go to hell. And that is fine by me as long as somebody tells me that you're something. But the Patriotic Alliance and EFF keep on telling us that they're against corruption, but yet they keep on supporting what goes on in Johannesburg. We don't have any evidence that those parties specifically are involved in corruption. But why else would you stick around unless you're benefiting somehow? They're not doing anything to get rid of them. The poor patsies in this whole story, the useful idiots, were ActionSA. ActionSA got the position of Speaker in the city of Johannesburg and then agreed as part of the deal that they'd get the role of Speaker, and the aim was to keep these people from stealing money or to act, as a better judge. And in return, the ActionSA approved a 2 billion rand loan, which is a bit like giving an alcoholic the keys to the liquor cabinet. And what did they do? When ActionSA started to ask too many questions, this is after the loan's been approved and after we've got the money, ActionSA lose their position as Speaker. And since then, they've been absolutely quiet about their role in allowing this crime to brew in South Africa. But City Power, your days must be numbered. We do not need these organizations in our cities. Get them out. They are just there to enable corruption. And boy, they've done a doozy here, 500 million rand at City Power. We'll keep watching the story. Thanks for joining us on The Political Insider. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you.